Hello. We um we should be live, although I'm not sure. Um, let's see if this worked. Maybe I could do a little ASMR thing or something. Welcome to the One Page Rules Hangout. Is that how they do it? Do they whisper? Do they just talk into the mic? I can see some people are joining already. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Please, as always, let me know if everything is good with the audio, with the video, with it all, and then we will start. All right. Hello. Yes. Welcome. Okay. More people joining. Yes, please let me know if the audio is good, if the video is good, if there are any issues there, if everything is good. Okay, I see people are saying the audio is good and the video is clear. All right, then we start. I dare I say that I think this might be a bit of a shorter stream for once. Since last stream, we've kind of decided to slightly change the format. In that we are just gonna do like a more general preview of concepts for upcoming factions a bit further out, rather than doing that thing where like every month we look at every mini and then we look at every concept and then all that stuff. Um, the last stream also was pretty long. Whatever. I think we just get into it. And yeah, you'll understand why this one is short because spoilers. Let's say there will be a long stream at some point. All right, let's just get to it. Yes, greetings. I see more and more people joining. Very cool. All right, so let us start with slide number one. Yes, Spiel Essen. So OPR is going to be at Spiel Essen in Germany on October. You can see here, 23rd to 26th of October. This is gonna be our third year at Spiel, which is very cool. I am hoping that by October my health is better so that I can go there as well and I can meet some of the fans, which would be pretty awesome. But otherwise, the crew will be there as usual. We will be giving out demos, we will be giving out minis. You'll probably be able to buy some stuff. Maybe you'll be able to see and touch some of the new things that we are currently working on for the future. And yes, if you were hesitant about going to Spiel, maybe this is a perfect reason for you to finally go. Yeah, uh, you know, uh, Spiel in Essen. It's cool. It's a very nice convention. It's much more like family oriented. It's very cozy. I mean, I say it's cozy, but then it's also enormous. So I don't know how cozy you find that to be, but it is quite nice. All right. Then next thing, OPR Writing Jam. Yes. So we just concluded the OPR Writing Jam 13. I think today we showed the results. If you are, curious about OPR and lore and all that stuff, make sure to go check out the entries. We had a ton of entries like, once again. And actually, this time we started a new thing where the number one rated entry will be invited to write an official short story for OPR in the future. That will be officially published, which I think is a very cool new little bonus. But yes, otherwise, it's always cool to do these jams and like see people get creative. We also recently did a mission jam. Um, and I think now that we are doing two different types of jam, we're going to change the frequency of it. So instead of doing like two, I think we were doing, at some point, we were doing way more. I think at some point, we were doing like three writing jams. But I think what we're going to do now is we're going to do one writing jam every half a year, I guess. One writing jam and one mission jam a year. So it's going to be two jams a year. We are also considering making them, I'm not sure. And maybe we're thinking about making them maybe a bit longer, but maybe I like the fact that they're tight. We'll see. I hope whoever joined the writing jam that you enjoyed it. We always think it's super fun, and there's always super cool stories to read at the end. So yes, thank you all for joining. Next up, let's talk about a website update. Oh, I see at the top it still says OPR Writing Jam. Forget that. This is supposed to be a website update post. Yes, we have updated the website. We now have updated the community section. Before, if you clicked on community, you ended up on like a pretty basic page. Now, when you go in the top right and you hover over community, you have like a menu like all the other sections, which brings you to 5 cool things. OPR Discord. You know and love it. You click on it, you go to the OPR Discord. At the very bottom, the fan wiki. You can actually check out the fan wiki for OPR, which is also a very cool tool from our fans. But what about the rest? Well, when it comes to the rest, you have the Rangers program page. This is a completely new page where before we kind of had like this small section talking about Rangers, and it was kind of messy and had like a million buttons. It was weird. And now instead we have a proper page talking about the Rangers program, how it works, where you can get different resources and stuff like that, where you can check out different things. So if you've been interested in either becoming a ranger or finding a local ranger, make sure to check out the Rangers page. From the menu, you will also now be able to directly go onto the community events page, which is pretty cool because you click on community events, you select your country, and then you can find events near you to maybe get a demo for OPR or play in a tournament or do some other hobby event and stuff like that, which is very cool and practical. And now it's even easier to find. So yes, always trying to make things easier to find for you guys. And then finally, there is also a section on the compatibility program. So if you just click on compatibility, you will get on a page with all of our compatible partners. And then, yes, you can also check them out. You can, find out about their armies, about their minis, and all of that cool stuff. So, yes, updating the website. There's another pretty large website update that is coming at some point. But yes, this is what we have for now. I hope you like this and the extra accessibility that it gives you. And this is live now. You can go check it out whilst listening to the stream. Um, Moving on to the next point. Yes, the Dwarf Guild's paper minis are now free. So the way that it works with paper minis is that OPR releases paper minis monthly on our Patreon, and then after a set is done, every 5-6 months, depends on the set, the paper minis become free and are then available for download on Wargame Vault / DriveThruRPG. We saw a lot of people asking about like when do we get the Dwarf Guilds for free, so I thought we would highlight it on the stream. Yes, and they are available now. You can check them out on those websites. They come with a bunch of minis covering most of the faction. It comes with terrain. The terrain is actually really cool because maybe you don't play with paper minis themselves, but you would enjoy using some paper terrain to go with your 3D printed minis, for example. We're actually planning on doing some changes to how we organize our paper armies in the future. Don't worry, everything is still, you're still getting the all the minis and the VTT stuff and the different colors and the black and whites. It's just that one thing we're kind of realizing is that we are still doing this thing where we sort of split them into different like packs, and then it kind of makes it hard for people to know like, okay, well, if I look for this unit, where do I go? And so we're actually thinking of making some sort of like combined version where you could get like just get the Dwarf Guild set, and boom, you have one PDF with like all of the minis, and it maybe like ordered by maybe it starts all the heroes, then all the units, then all the special units and stuff like that. Just making things easier for you to find and print once again. All right, so that's the Dwarf Guild's paper minis. I'm telling you, this is going to be a fast stream. Moving on to the next thing, Vampiric Undead Faction Book. Yes, the Vampiric Undead Faction Book and the Vampiric Undead Army, of course, are now available on Frontiers. Make sure to go check them out. This is an awesome book talking about the Vampiric Undead, showing you a bunch of their lore, their history, their conflicts, the map, different color schemes, a bunch of different things. I think this is a really cool book. I have to say all the faction books are really cool, and this one was super fun to work on. The faction book also comes with 4 new narrative heroes. which you can see here on the left. So starting from the left, you can see we have Necromancer, Latmir the Mad. Then we have Lady Navleva with her Winged Terror, which has a name. I forget the name. Then we have Gremir, which is the big werewolf with his young vampire girl buddy. And then of course we have Captain Blackfang, which is our Vampire Coast hero. With this pack, of course, you can get the book, you can get the heroes, you can get all of the army, you can get the titans, you can get a bunch of additional stuff. So if you've been interested in either just OPR lore or in the OPR minis, make sure to grab the book now. Okay. Yes, very cool, very exciting. I'm very happy about the faction books. Moving on. Broken Truth. Yes, Broken Truth is coming soon. So we now have the Broken Truth release date, which is gonna be September 23rd. I'm pretty sure it's September 23rd. So yes, write it down, or even better, go on GameFound, check out the Broken Truth page, and click a follow so that you'll be notified when it comes out. You can actually also do a sort of like pre-order thing to get like a little bonus. And yes, here we can see the contents of the box. So you can see it comes with the mat. It comes with a ton of minis, both small and big. It comes with different heroes for each army. It comes with tokens. It comes with rulers. It comes with a whole terrain set. Actually, I think I'm right. The terrain that we're showing here is only half the set. I think there's even more terrain. And then it also comes with 6 booklets, or like basically like different language translations of the booklet for Broken Truth, which comes with lore and of course a how to get started with OPR. It's like a 6 mission tutorial where like you slowly learn how to play the game, and of course it also comes with the 1 page of rules. Yes, here you can see this beautiful pic with everything laid out, but the minis are not gray. When you paint them, they look like this. So yes, you can have this on the table when you paint up the whole set. I mean, it looks great. It looks awesome. Yeah, you can see there's a ton of terrain. There's the mat. Yeah, it's great. It's crazy. So I'm happy. I'm happy that we're releasing this, and I hope you enjoy it too. Yeah, make sure to check out Broken Truth. Okay, moving on to the next thing is 3.5 Army Beta updates. So, last stream I talked about the armies a bunch, which was very cool. We're not going to do that this stream. Don't worry, this is, like I said, this is going to be a shorter stream. So unfortunately, I hoped that the beta was going to be available much sooner, but we are working on the back end. There is a bunch of stuff going on with the point calculator, the new rules generator, the new army rules generator, the new spells generator. Like there's a bunch of stuff that is like all coming together in the back end. But I have been working on this basically every day with Adam, and I can tell you that where we are today, it's basically done. It's in a polished enough state that no matter what, we are going to be launching the v3.5 Army Beta on Monday, the 1st of September. We will launch with the Grimdark Future part. So all of Grimdark Future except for the gangs. No fantasy yet. I am going to do like there's going to be a post about it on our website, and on Monday I'm going to do a live stream where I go over all of the armies. That's at least the plan. Let's see how long it is. I assume it's going to be a long stream, like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Who knows? It's going to be a long stream. So yes, if you're interested in going down that madness with me, make sure to join. And yeah, there will be Discord threads where you guys can then post your feedback. And yeah, I can tell you already, and that's why I'm gonna have this big stream on Monday. I can tell you already that since the last time I spoke about this a month ago, more army changes have come. Everything has been changed once again. So whatever you thought about was gonna happen last month, forget it. It's different now. I mean, not all of it, but a lot of it has changed. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it coming out. And then the plan is that about a week later, maybe the Monday after, we would launch with the fantasy side of things. And again, I'll make a stream for fantasy. Important thing here. So originally, our plan was to do, go live with 3.5 in September. It's called a September update. Then we said, it's going to come end of September. At this point, to be fair to the fans and to be fair to the process of the beta and all that stuff, since the beta is only launching at the beginning of September, the launch of v3.5.0, I guess, the official launch of v3.5 will be at the end of October. So, I mean, honestly, the vast majority of changes are all in the armies. The core rules are not changing basically at all. And the advanced rules as well, they're not changing much. So, really, like, the beta is in many ways the update. So as long as you play the beta, in some ways you're kind of already getting v3.5. Of course, the beta is going to have everything subject to change, so things will be updated, things will be modified, things will, whatever. Yeah, I think that's it about v3.5. I am looking forward to finally launching this beta on Monday. All right. Moving on. Okay, so that was it with studio updates. Now let's talk about the models that are coming out in September. So for the dwarves, we start with the Warden Lord. The Warden Lord, I'm still not sure about this pose. We're still working on it. It's one of the final models that we are still tweaking. But the Warden Lord, basically, he's kind of like your charge type of hero. He helps the units go faster, essentially, in the game. Yeah, basically has like a sort of fast aura, and yeah, he has like a cool, special helmet and shoulder pad. And he has like a cool, detailed cape. And yeah, if you see like the shape of the helmet, he fits kind of like in the Iron Warriors sort of scheme. So yes, this is one of the heroes that you're getting in September. Then we are going to get the miners. Ooh, I'm very excited about the miners because, one of the things about the dwarf lore for OPR is that essentially after a lot of things happen and the dwarves kind of like get they kind of get occupied by the orcs, and the orcs get kicked out and whatever, and the dwarven holds are kind of like destroyed and kind of in shambles, and the faction doesn't exactly split in half, but part of the faction essentially leaves the mountains to go and dig, and they find this magical coal and all that stuff. And so there's a whole mining side of the faction, which you've already seen in some of the units, but the miners are the mining part of the faction. So I'm very excited to see them coming out. Yeah, they're really cool. They have this special like shield with a light on it. They have these candles on their heads. They actually have like a special drill guy that you can use to, I think you can have, I don't remember exactly how it works now, but the drill can be used to attack, and I think you can also have a version of the drill that basically allows you to like dig underground. And they basically have like the tunneler rule, the tunneler rule, which basically allows you to do like a close ambush. So they're a great like little ambushing unit. For your dwarf army. Then you are going to get the Steam suits. Yes. So we are very excited about these. Originally, they had a different design, but then when we tried it, it looked absolutely trash. So we kind of had to rework it. And so we came up with this design. You're going to see very soon why this specific design. But yes, so the Steam suits are basically, they're big. They're T3 units, so, 50 mil. And they are dwarves in essentially their sort of power armor. They come in 3 different variations. You can have them with like these sort of like guns, steam guns, and their little swords for a melee version. Sorry, for a shooty version. You can have them with double fists. This is a new option that's going to be in the army for some sort of heavy blows. And then, of course, you can have the classic shield and hammer version. Here you are seeing them with their helmets off, so you can have them like this, where you can see the little pilot inside the suit. And there's also a version of them where they basically have the helmet on, and then you can see like the more almost like robot looking version. So you're gonna get the unit for them, and then of course you're also gonna get the hero. Very cool hero. This is the Steam Suit champion, and here you can see like the helmet, what it looks like, or the I guess it's a helmet. And yes, same setup. Like you have the shield and hammer for your more shielded version. You have your shooty version with the sword, and then you also have your punchy version with the big fists. Yeah, looks really cool. I love the idea of these team suits. Um, Turned out much cooler than I thought they would be. So yeah, very exciting. And then you are also going to get the big one. So this is the giant construct, I think we call it. Giant steam construct. Don't quote me on the name, but yeah. So when we decided to change the design of the steam suits, we were like, hey, we have this big guy. Why don't we make them related to this guy? And so, yeah, that's what we did. And so here you have the massive construct. It comes with 2 weapon options. You can have it with this enormous earth shattering or mountain shattering or mine shattering or coal shattering, whatever, hammer. And then you can also have it with this massive gun. This is a giant. It's like a T12, I think. So it's like 100 millimeters tall, huge model, like twice the size as the other guys. And this also has a pilot. So there is also a version where, of course, like this, they're not robots per se. They're like, machines. They're suits in a way. So yes, you can also change the head. Instead of having the helmet, you have a dwarf inside. Which looks actually pretty cool. I have to say, it looks funny to see like the big machine and then the tiny dwarf heads. Um, yeah, cool. So that is our dwarves preview for September. Moving on to orcs. So for orcs, incredible to say, we are already at the last month of the orcs. Time really does fly. And with the last month of the orcs, we are focusing on the berserker side of the orcs. This is a completely new side of the faction that we added as part of our new orc line, and you also get rules for them. And yeah, so the berserkers, you get a bunch of different poses. You get a command group. You can see it on the right. You have a banner bearer. You also have a medic, which has like this cool like medic saw. They come with their dual saws, or for like basically hardcore melee action. And they also come with shields and spears to get them be a little bit more defensive. Yeah, I mean they're a great unit in the game. You can use them both with the shields to be a little bit more defensive, or honestly just use the claws and go in and just destroy. If you pack them up in a transport and then you hop out, you will cause mayhem. So yes, these are your berserkers. With the berserkers, you're also going to get, of course, the berserker hero. The berserker hero comes with, again, same weapon options. You're not seeing all the weapon options here, but it comes with dual claws. It comes with the big saw. It comes with the shield and the spear. He also has the banner on the back, like all the heroes do. And he also has a special mask that I guess we've seen it in the shaman, which is funny because the shaman came out in the first wave of releases, but he's actually thematically part of the berserker side of things. But things came out in that order because we wanted to have the caster at the beginning. So he also has one of these like masks and stuff like that. And so this is your hero. Then you are also going to get the Beast Riders, a very cool cavalry unit for the army. You have your bikers. Your bikers, they're fast and they're shooty and they have like guns on their bikes and all that stuff. But what if you want melee? Well, if you want melee, then of course you get the Beast Riders. So these are the Berserker Beast Riders. They come with their cool little combat beasts. I mean, I say little, but these are pretty big. They're like T3, so they're chunky. And they also come with the same sort of like weapon options. So you have the dual claws, you have dual swords, and you have the shields and spears. Very cool unit. I'm very happy about how these turned out. I like that they're like fatty. They feel nice and chunky. Then you're also going to get, of course, a hero on a combat beast. So you get your leader, you place him on a combat beast. Again, different weapon options, spear, shield, all that type of stuff. And he has a cool little combat beast. But what is even cooler is that you get the hero on the great combat beast. I think it's called the great yes, the Great Beast. Sorry, I said Combat Beast, but that's a different unit. The Great Beast. This guy is even bigger. You can now see like it. It's not that we shrunk down the Berserker. It's that the Beast got much bigger. This guy is a T6, just the creature T6 with the hero. It's a T9, so it's a pretty chunky thing. It's almost like it's above a light walker. It's between a light walker and a tank. Pretty big guy. He has this massive horn. Looks awesome. And of course, your Berserker, again, with lots of different weapon options. The banner in the back. I think this guy came out, again, super awesome. You can see how he's related to the other guys, but also different and special. And yeah, I think this looks absolutely awesome. But Tano, you ask me, what if I wanted it bigger? Well, then we also have the Combat Beast for you. The Combat Beast is massive. He is a tough 18. He's the size of a great battle tank. If you look in the back, it's not that we shrunk your orcs to be tiny. It's that this guy is massive. So he is bigger than a regular tank, right? He's tough 18. The Combat Beast comes with a bunch of options. He has mortars. He has harpoon launchers. If you can see them on the side. He has a turret gun at the top. He has a bunch of orcs shootings from the sides. Also, like a big banner in the back. Or you can have the more caster-y version, which has the caster, which has like a shaman, and it has like a totem pole banner thing. And actually, the caster is cool. Like he has a special staff. It's a wand, actually. Yeah, and so you can have a sort of like spell casting version of the combat beast. And of course, the combat beast is also a transport. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's also transport. So take your berserkers, put them in the combat beast, go in, destroy the enemies with its big tusks, jump out, destroy the enemies with your berserkers, and yeah, and it all comes together. As one. Okay, cool. So that is the Orc Marauders for September. Like I said, that's the last Orc release. Like, I hope you enjoyed the army. We know that at the beginning, there were some struggles and we had to rework the army. And actually, like, I'm super grateful that the fans gave us their feedback so that we reworked the army. I think the army was way better off for it, and the army is now much cooler than what we were originally doing. So I'm very happy and super thankful for the feedback. And yeah, it's almost sad to see them go. Like, once again, an army comes and goes. Time truly flies. Okay, moving on to what else you get in September. So you're also going to get a quest model, of course. You are going to get the Beastman Paladin. Cool. We haven't seen a Beastman model in a while, I think. So it's cool that we have the Paladin here. And again, like, one of the things that's cool with Quest is that it allows us to take something familiar and make it a bit special and different. So yeah, here we're seeing a Beastman Paladin ready to lead the charge and boost his allies in battle. Then for Star Quest, you are going to get the Eternal Dynasty Technomancer. Again, really cool, right? You take something familiar, Eternal Dynasty, but you turn it into something weird with the Technomancer. Technomancer is very cool. Like, he has this sort of like tech arms with like electricity. This is not the final version; it's still very geometric. But yeah, another cool Star Quest hero for you to join the party. Technomancers are sort of like your sorcerer equivalent, so they're spellcasters. Okay, then you are also going to get, you're also going to get the Jungle terrain. I have to say something. This is an early preview of it. We are heavily reworking this because we felt it wasn't looking jungly enough, so we are reworking this set of terrain. But so it might actually be delayed a little bit. But yes, you are going to get the jungle terrain. This is our new terrain set that's coming out over the next 6 months. 6 months? 7 months? 7 months? Um, and yeah, we are doing jungle. The cool thing about the jungle terrain is we are doing, as always, we're trying to make this generic enough that you can use it for sci-fi and fantasy. So we have these sort of like ruins in the terrain that look, it's cool. Like we found a style that I feel can both look very alien, but can also look very kind of like Mesoamerican, let's say. All right. And then the final thing that you are going to get is the Great Combat Beast, I think it's called. So this is your legendary for October, September. This is the last month, of course, of the orcs, so they get a legendary. This guy is massive. This is like a T24, so this is huge. If the Combat Beast was big, this guy is bigger. This is big like a if you've ever used the dread behemoth from the Saurians, or if you've seen the jackal great, like the long neck or the mastodon, like it's in that range. It is massive. It has 4 massive tusks. It is just, yeah, it's huge. It's chunky. It's fatty. I love it. It's absolutely delicious. And yeah, it comes with a huge arsenal of weapons. It comes with like a tank turret. It comes with an additional gunner on top. It has a gunner in the back. It has gunners on the sides. There are little platforms on the sides. There's going to be more gunners there. It also has additional mortars on the sides, and it has harpoons on the sides. It is absolutely massive. I think this is an awesome send-off for the faction, and this is going to be absolutely delicious. One caveat, unfortunately, this is massive, and it's taking us longer to work on than we expected, so this model might be delayed. But I think it was very well worth it. Yeah. Okay, awesome. So with that, we have looked at everything from September. So, oh no, one final thing actually. Hold on. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. Woo. Okay, so now we're gonna start giving you a quick preview of what's coming out in Tier 3 because in September Tier 3 launches. So what is Tier 3? Tier 3 is our throwback tier. Basically, in September of 2025, we are going to do like celebrate the official 5-year anniversary of OPR doing our new style of minis on Patreon. So what we're doing is we're doing a tier 3. Tier 3 is going to be $18, so $8 more than tier 2, and it's going to get you exactly, well, it's going to get you everything you got exactly 5 years ago. There is some special stuff. I'm going to talk about it now. So yes, if you're an OPR fan, if you're like, look, I love you guys, I want to give you more money, or maybe you're like, look, I already have a ton of minis and I want to collect them more, but let me do it slowly instead of buying a new army all at once, stuff like that. Or again, you just want to send some extra money our way. Thank you very much. You can join tier 3 and get all of these cool models. So what do I mean with updated models? So what you get is exactly what came out 5 years ago. But if at some point those packs were updated, you also get the update for free. So for example, here on this shot, you are seeing, yes, believe it or not, this was the full release of models in September 2020. So you got 14 models at the time. Looking at OPR now, doing 50 plus models a month, this sounds ridiculous, but yes, that's what you got at the time. But no, you are going to get the updated sets of these models. So for the Alien Hives, yes, you're going to get the Prime Gunner, but you're going to get the new Prime Gunner, which comes with like 7 different weapon options, and it also has like the special melee options, stuff like that. You're not going to get just 3 Assault Grunts. You're going to get the total 5 Assault Grunts plus the Assault Grunt with the buddy. You're not just going to get 3 Shooter Grunts. You're going to get the 5 Shooter Grunts and the Shooter Grunt with the buddy. You're not on the alien, on the Mummified Undead side. You're not just going to get the King with the sword. You're going to get the King with all the 5-6 different weapon options. For the skeletons, you're not just going to get 3 skeletons with sword. You're going to get the 5 skeletons with sword and the 5 skeletons with spear, and you're gonna get the 3 skeletons from the command group. So you're gonna get the 13 models, so not just 3. For the horses that you're seeing on the right, same thing, right? You're not just gonna get the 2 models that were at the time. You're gonna get the 3 models with the 2 weapon options, plus the additional 3 models from the command group. So what you're seeing here with the 14 models, you're actually getting way more than that as part of the throwback tier. Um, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So one thing, because we realize that these early throwback tiers are smaller in terms of amount of units per side that you are going to get eventually once we catch up more towards the new way that we're doing things. We are gonna give you a bonus. So just to kind of clarify what I mean is like, right. So usually now you get like 4, 5, 6, sometimes even units per army, like per fantasy and per sci-fi side, right? You get that together. And here you're only getting, 1 here on each side and 2 units, so it's like you're getting 6. So it's like it's half of what you would be getting. And so on top of all of this, for the first 10 months, we are also going to give you additional loyalty rewards as your rewards. And again, this is all going in chronological order. So these were our first ever loyalty rewards. It's also very cool to see the old render style. Everything is kind of muddy and like hard to see, and it's like this piss yellow color. But yes, you are going to get the old loyalty rewards as well. So on the left side, you are going to get the hold on, the chained tyrant from the robot legions, which comes with like the big chained tyrant monolith in the middle, and then like 2 additional warden monoliths. And then on the fantasy side, you are going to get the dread behemoth, which is absolutely massive, and it comes with 2 versions, one with this big platform on the back and one with no platform at all if you just want to smash into enemies like that. Yeah, I hope you're excited. We are excited. And yeah, I look forward to adding this little preview to my streams every month. Okay, with this, we move on to what do we move on to? We move on to Goblin Reclaimers preview. So, like I said at the beginning, we are slightly changing the format of these. Let me take a sip of water. We're slightly changing the format of these streams, where instead of going through every single concept that's coming out and bore you with that, instead we are going to basically just do some highlights of upcoming armies when they're still a bit further away, so you can kind of see what we are generally cooking, and then once we get closer to it, you can see the actual minis, which we think is better. So last month we saw the half, let's say, or not half of all the units, but like we saw part of the Goblin Reclaimers. We saw the more normal side. So we saw the shooters, the storm guys. We saw the tanks, the walkers. The more normal, let's say, Goblin side. But now we're going to talk about the freaks side, or the freaky side. So with the Goblin Reclaimers, we have added a new sort of concept, which is, since they come from this world that is basically like all radioactive and whatnot, you have a part or some goblins that become what they call freaks. So, what is a goblin freak? A goblin freak is basically a goblin that has mutated to have parts of its body, being different. So, usually they are some sort of animal part or some sort of alien part. They also, funny enough, goblins don't have hair usually. And the idea here was that the ones that are freaks, as we call them, actually, like, their mutations have them grow hair. So these are actually the only goblins that will have hair in the faction. And yes, this is a melee unit. It has like the I think now it's called, hold on, the unpredictable fighter rule. So like sometimes they have AP, sometimes they have +1 to hit. So they're a bit wild like that, but they're always strong. And yeah, they're a cool melee unit for your army. On the freak side of things, you're also going to get the weirdo. It's called, and the weirdo is basically your shaman, your caster for the Goblin Reclaimers, which is also a freak style, guy. So he has like all the different parts and stuff like that. And yes, you can get um, a sense of the vibe of the goblins. One thing I saw people talking about, um, I saw some people mention like, "Oh, I saw the concept, and why do the goblins have feathers?" These are not feathers. It seems like this maybe in the concept, but don't be fooled. They are leaves. So the goblin, imagine like the goblin come from not a nuclear wasteland that is like all um, deserty and stuff like that. Think about them more like a post-apocalyptic. Um, Let me think of a good example. Like The Last of Us is a good example, right? So it's like nature has already grown back, so it's full of trees and some life and leaves and stuff like that. So that's the environment that they come from. They come from a post-apocalyptic, let's say, foresty environment, not from a nuclear wasteland that's all desert. So you will see a lot of like leaves on their body and stuff like that. They're not feathers. So yeah. All right, moving on. You are also going to get the bug riders. So we spoke already about the junk bugs. The junk bugs are basically what we would define usually as a buddy in OPR, but really they are the big brains here. But anyway, so bugs get mutated through the radiation, and some become really big, almost like horses or bigger or whatnot, and they become they are then ridden by the goblins. So you have the bug riders. The bug riders are basically shooters on bugs. The bugs are, they have like these 6 legs. They're kind of low here. They seem pretty tall. They should be lower. Um, and yeah, you're gonna have goblins on bugs shooting around. But as you can see here on the right, like they can stretch their legs, and you're like, what if I can have like a big bug? Well, don't worry, they have a unit called literally the big bug, and the big bug is well a big bug. So he's a much taller version of the bugs. Funny enough, the small bugs have 6 legs. The big bug has 3 legs. And so yes, they're like, look, we're gonna take this bug. He's big. We're gonna put a platform on it, put guns on it, and of course, that's a very goblin-y thing to do. Yeah, so this is the big bug, and I think this is the last preview for today for the goblins. Starting from next month, we're gonna look at actual 3D pictures of the models. Yes, I hope you are enjoying these previews and get a sense for what we are trying to do with the faction and the vibe that we're going for. I gotta be honest, I've been seeing the 3D models getting made. They look absolutely awesome. It's just a fun faction, and I'm super happy to have um, I'm super happy to have Goblin Reclaimers in OPR. Not just because they're cool and funny and silly, and like to me, OPR in many ways. Sure, it's a war game, but it's meant to be a bit more on the lighter, funnier side. And so I feel like the Goblin Reclaimers really embody that. But also, I really like the idea that like, whilst you could say, well, like in some ways, the Goblin Reclaimers are can be used as a proxy, but I do consider it very much an original OPR army. And it's just like our designs and our style and our vibes and our ideas, and yeah, it's cool to have more factions in the game that really feel like they belong to us. Okay. All right. So we are already at the end of this part of the stream. I told you this was not going to be a long one. So now we are moving on to the Q&A part. So as always, I'm going to have the Q&A. Okay. So I'm gonna draw a line here. Okay, I'm gonna go check out. Oh, I just dropped something. I'm gonna go check out the questions that were asked in the Google form. Then after that, I will answer to any questions that are here on the stream after the line that I wrote Q&A starts here, and then we will finish this stream. All right, so let's go check out the questions. Okay, hey Tano, any teaser about what's coming after Goblins, Dwarves? Teaser. Uh, it is something I have spoken about in many streams. Let me put it like that. It is something I've spoken about in many streams, and it's an exciting idea that we have decided to make reality. Also, how do the Jinhai servants of the ogres look? Goblin or reptilian, something else. Oh, that's interesting. So for those that don't know, in our ogres faction for fantasy, they have these little helpers. I think right now in the rule we call them. I don't remember what they call them, but they're kind of like goblin helpers. But we have a plan to actually change them in the future whenever we make our own minis. And the Jinhai are they're actually a mix. So the idea that we have is that instead of because like, it's usually what you do with a big faction is like okay you have a faction of big guys, then you come up with a faction of small guys, and then there's a bunch of small guys. And when we were like designing, because we had already been doing concepts for the ogres a while ago, when we were designing the ideas for the small guys, we came up with like 5, 6, 7, 8 awesome ideas. Well, not every idea was awesome, but like a bunch of awesome ideas, and we were like, these are too cool to pass up. So we are gonna probably pick like 3 or 4 of those, and then we're gonna make all of them. So when you have a unit of Jinhai, they're gonna be mixed. They're gonna be like mixed species and stuff like that, and they're also gonna be buddies and stuff like that. So I think that's gonna be awesome. Please tell me I didn't kill my mic. I did not kill my mic. All right, cool. Is a rework of Warfleets already on the to-do list for the coming years? Yes. Will there ever be lore books and faction books available as a bundle to buy? Maybe at some point. I think right now we just don't have enough books that making a bundle makes sense. Like if we made a bundle of, the Grimdark Future books, you'd get the World book and the ED book, and that's it. It's not a bundle really, so not yet. Um, mm, okay. I have loved that in each of the faction books across both Grimdark and Fantasy, there has been a hero that has been clearly inspired by a folklore, myth, fairy tale, such as Sun Wukong, Pinocchio, and Little Red Riding Hood. Is there a conscious effort to ensure one hero from each faction is inspired by existing stories? No. There is no rule that we set and we say, oh, there has to be one that is like this. I think it's more of just like it's more like a natural flow. Like um, you navigate to certain ideas. Navigate. Sorry, you you whatever. You certain ideas are more attractive. Are there any of these inspirations that you are excited to use in the future? No, not really. Will Goblin Reclaimers get their own StarQuest campaign? Yes. Will it be shorter, less chapters, missions? Yes. I guess it's going to be 3 chapters long, so that's 6 missions. Is there a chance we could see unit fillers for each army book, both AOF and Grim Future? No, we don't really have plans to do specific unit fillers right now. I guess you can use the objective markers. Those could be good as unit fillers. You can use the buddies. You could use some of the generic terrain that we're making. But otherwise, no, we're not really planning to do any unit fillers. And okay, that's it. That was all the questions that we got on the form. So now I'm going to go up here and look at the questions. What's the next faction book? Well, wouldn't you like to know? I will give you a hint. It's Grimdark Future, right? We just did a fantasy one. It's going to be Grimdark Future. It's a very popular faction. I guess I can give you that. Will Grimdark Future Warfleets get integrated into AFS anytime soon? I'm gonna say no, in the sense that soon, no. I think depending on when, if we get to it, at least 6 months out, if not more. Are you satisfied or happy with the entries and results of the Mission Jam competition? I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts. Yeah, it was really cool. I checked out all. God, I think it was 70 entries. I actually, we use the Mission Jam as a way to select for talent and then hire a new mission designer. So yeah, I went through all the missions, then selected. I think it was like 15 top ones, and then from there, contacted people. Yeah, I think it was really cool. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I'm looking forward to the next jam. I think we used to do like game jams where people had to come up with a 1-page war game in 48 hours, and I think it was a much bigger struggle for people because you were kind of coming up with a new game like out of the blue with just a small prompt with a war game, it's tough because like I guess I've participated in video game jams, and it's like you get a prompt, and you can even make a game like, oh, you make a platformer, right? You don't have to invent a new type of game, but then you're like, I'll make a platformer and I'll add ideas that fit the theme, and then I'll make an art style that fits the theme, and you have many more points, many more pillars that you can use to turn into the theme. Whereas when it was like a 48-hour game jam for wargaming, it's like, wow, it's tough to come up with like a new type of war game in 48 hours. And so you usually ended up with a bunch of games that were all the same, or games that ended up being more like board games. It was complicated. Whereas with the Mission Jam, I feel like it was very successful because it was much more direct, right? It was just like, we all understand OPR games, how they work. We understand what a mission is, and then instead of having to invent a game from scratch, it's more like, okay, I know all the tools that I have thanks to OPR. Now let me make a mission about growth, and then okay, I know the baseline, and now I do something cool. So yes, I'm very happy with how it came out. Ogre soon? No. What's the next frontier going to be? I mean, I guess, is this a spoiler? Whatever. The next frontier is going to be a mission pack for one of the Age of Fantasy games. Let me put it like this. Will the Army Forge beta site live separate from the current Army Forge whilst it's in beta? Yes, the beta, it's its own site, so you can still use Army Forge as is until we don't put v3.5 to live. Any transports for the goblins? I don't think so. I don't think you can use the big bug as a transport. I know that they have a tank. I don't remember if the tank has a transport upgrade. What factions would you like to see redesigned next? Redesigned. I do think I don't see any faction that I would like to see redesigned next, but I do think some of the earlier factions could use some work. So like I feel like the Saurians are a really cool faction, but I feel that by now we have such a better grasp of how to make minis that we would do a better job at making them more evocative, more themed, more interesting. Same thing for the mummified undead. So Saurians and mummified undead for sure. I think right now they feel like the most generic out of all the factions that we make. And I actually think that Alien Hives is a faction that we don't want to redo right now, but there are definitely elements of the faction that we think could be improved a lot. And that's something I would like to do at some point, but I'm not sure when. So just to give you an idea, like Alien Hives, again, one of the first factions we ever made, they're very naked. They're very bare bones. I'm not saying that I want to put clothes on them, but I feel that the problem with the Alien Hives is that right now they literally, they pretty much literally just have only a very baseline anatomy. Sometimes they have spikes. Some of them hold a gun. Some of them maybe have a gun on their back, but that's about it. Which means design wise, they very much all look kind of the same, and they're not so different and interesting. So like even if you even if like let's say we want to keep it organic, of course, right? But they could have right now they have some sort of like knee pads and shoulder pads, but they all have the exact same shape. It's like, okay, different units should probably have them different, right? Like maybe one unit has a heavier one that's more spiky, maybe another unit has a lighter one, maybe one of the units with tentacles has tentacles coming from their sort of like shoulder pads. They have like these elbow spots. Like, okay, some of them could have spikes, some of them could have something else. They have something on their knees, their heads. Like, there's so many parts of the models where you could just add bits of design to make them more interesting. Where right now they're just plain. They're just like, okay, here's a back, and sure, it has a bit of scales, maybe it has a couple of spikes, but like, yeah, that's it. And that actually is very limiting. And another thing that I think would be cool is to add assets to them. Like, and again, I'm not saying to put like loincloths on them, but like, I do think that it's a faction that's meant to be more sentient and more, more aware. So I think like, okay, well, maybe they would not have a belt with grenades, but I think it could be cool if they had like, maybe they have some sort of like kind of like grenade type of thing that has a sort of like suction thing, and they kind of like attach it to themselves and it's kind of glued there. Okay, that could be interesting, like having some sort of assets on them. Maybe they have like a little snack. I don't know. I don't know exactly what, but my point is the fact that right now they're just naked anatomies without any assets or anything else that makes the anatomies interesting is very limited and limiting. Because whenever we want to make like a new hero, for example, it's like there's only so much we can play with. All right. Worlds Beyond was a really great campaign. Sadly, nothing else has come from Titan Forge or Archvillain game. Will there be any follow up at some point? We have some ideas for another Worlds Beyond, but to be honest, we have been so busy with so many things that it hasn't happened yet. But we have an idea for it, a big idea for it, and we'll see if it happens. Have you considered posting photos of the painting competition winners on My Mini Factory and Etsy? No, not really. Not really something we have looked to do. They're not our pictures, and that gets complicated. But usually on My Mini Factory, under the pictures, you can see all the shots of like people that uploaded their own photos, and I'm pretty sure that on Etsy, on like you can see all the reviews, and the reviews have pictures as well. Okay. Would you consider characters like Feverick the Third and the Mummy Queen and the Rat Mother and the Havoc Four to be too powerful to stat? If so, when might we learn more about them? Um, I don't know that it's the fact that they're just too powerful to stat, but I do think that there is something to not having those as playable characters. Like they are such mythical beings, they're such mythical characters that I don't know, the moment you make a mini for them, the moment you make stats for them, it's like, oh, I can kill them. They just lose their epicness, and so it's not really something I would like to do. When might we learn more about them? You will learn more in their various faction books. Is the Demon Onslaught still planned? To be seen. Any thoughts on doing unseen races slash factions as heroes for quest, or a monster slash NPC release for it slash skirmish? Maybe at some point in the future. You have to understand that like the heaviest part of doing a new faction, I mean, besides doing all the models, which is a huge amount of work, is the pre-production. Like we don't want to just make a mini, right? We have a mini, it has a story, it has a design, which means that we need to make a base anatomy, we need to make base assets, we need to understand their shape language, we need to understand what kind of items to use, right? It's a whole lot of work to make a mini and like a new faction. I mean, like doing it properly. And so if we want to do like a one-off, it's a lot of work to just do one mini, especially if we're just doing it for quests, which like, yeah, sure, it's cool and it's somewhat popular, but it's not like, our most popular game where it's like, okay, everybody's going to play with this mini, it's worth doing it. So I don't think so for now. One thing that I've thought about for far off into the future is the idea of having, both for Grimdark and for fantasy, having a sort of mercenary entry, almost like, okay, imagine like we have gangs and guilds where like you have an entry in army forge where you click on it and you see a bunch of factions, right? Something like that where it would be like, I don't know, Grimdark mercenaries, who cares? Or maybe it would be called Grimdark strike teams, whatever. Maybe we would start with doing it just for firefight and skirmish. And the idea for me would be to make a small faction, where it's like, okay, we have this cool idea for a faction. We don't have enough ideas to make it like a full thing. We're not sure if people are going to like it enough that it's worth doing a full thing. But what if we make a sort of mini faction just big enough that it's worth it to have it on as a skirmish army? Like maybe it's I don't know. I'm completely spitballing, but like imagine it's like, okay, it's one hero, it's like 2-3 units of infantry. Maybe it's 1-2 bigger things like cavalry or like an ogre size thing, right? And then it's like, okay, oh, here's this cool idea for this. I don't know, cult of the eye section thing faction. And then, okay, here's a hero, here's your couple of units and whatever. You can play it in skirmish, you can ally them for the main games. And then that could be cool and that could feel worth it. And then if if we saw that a faction gets really popular, okay, it could expand into becoming like a full-fledged faction. But yeah. Could you talk a bit about the quest updates, streamlines, timeline, eventual updates to the release campaigns? Okay, so talk a bit about the quest update. Yes, I can give you a general overview. So, what is changing in quest? There will probably be a more dedicated post and stream about this at some point. And actually, speaking of v3.5, I am considering, not sure, but I'm considering to release the quest update before v3.5 is out. Just because it's kind of like it doesn't really depend on it, and actually might be good that it's not just thrown in with like everything else. So maybe the quest update comes at the end of September after all. Not sure. Don't quote me on that, right? So the quest update, yeah, basically we are reworking the difficulty settings. Essentially, right now, the way that the difficulty works is that the way it scales is you will deploy the higher the difficulty, the more models you deploy, the more enemies you deploy at the beginning of the game, and then the more time you have before the next wave spawns. And I think this has created like a very unbalanced feel where it basically is like, okay, you get super overwhelmed at the beginning, and then nothing happens if you survive that, and then okay, another time it becomes super overwhelming, and so instead we now change it to a system where the frequency of spawns is the same, so it's every 6 rounds, and the amount of enemies that spawn changes. So you're not spawning as many enemies as you were spawning before. You're spawning fewer, but they're coming more frequently. So it's more about like, okay, you start the game, there's the sentries, you fight them off, then you go and try and like capture the objectives, maybe get some search tokens. Okay, another wave is coming in, you fend them off whilst you're completing the objectives. Okay, maybe you complete the objectives, next wave comes in, and so on and so forth. So it's more dynamic, it's more fluid. And what I also like about it is that because like right now, one of the things that happens is that you spawn everything at the beginning, and so the after a couple rounds, all the enemies end up in like one huge blob around the heroes. Whereas with this new method, since you spawn fewer enemies and more times, as you move through the level, essentially the map, enemies are spawning in different points. So like, okay, maybe at the beginning, this area of this quadrant of the map is kind of like the hot zone, but then by the time the next wave spawns, this area becomes more interesting and some enemies are coming from here, and so it becomes more dynamic. So a lot of it has been done, has been changed about that, and also like the difficulties have been changed where I think it's fairer. So I think the easiest difficulty is easier, and I think the harder difficulties are much harder. So it's a nice like, okay, if you want a challenge, go up. If are a beginner, go down, and it should be much more balanced. There's other things that are changing too, but honestly, I feel like this is the biggest, most significant change. Um, there's some things that are changing to. Oh yeah, all the heroes will now start at quality 5 up. So we saw that a lot of people did not like that you start at quality 6 up. So we're going to start at quality 5 up, which of course is balanced because it means your heroes cost a little more. So then you get more enemies, stuff like that. We are also adding. Oh yeah, we're adding the ability to add like optional boss waves. So if you are like, hey, I want to fight a bigger, chunkier wave for more reward, you can do it. You can spawn a boss wave. A boss wave essentially is like a double-sized wave with bigger enemies. So it's more likely that you will spawn a champion or a big monster or something like that. We're also changing. Let me think. We are changing the way search tokens work a little bit. So before, I feel like the search tokens were a bit more punishing. So basically, before you had essentially a 50-50 chance that either you find something or you find nothing or you get damaged. So it was like a 33% chance that you get damaged, 16% chance you find nothing, and then 50% chance that you find something, right? And now it's been changed. Now it's a 33% chance that so it's a, whatever. It's you have less chance of something going bad, and even if something goes bad, there is a chance that you don't get damaged. So before, what was happening is that players would not want to go for search tokens because they kept, stumbling on creature nests, for example, and they just were getting whacked. And instead, now it's like, okay, the chance that you find something nice is a bit higher, and even if something bad happens, the chance that it's a damage to you rather than just it's empty is also changed. So that's more forgiving, which hopefully makes players go for search tokens a bit more. And what else? Yeah, one other change is we are changing the. This is more of a how do I call it? This is more of like a perspective shift. So right now in the game, you have the fatigue element. So basically, the way that it works is as your heroes do stuff, they become more and more fatigued, and then you have to rest to remove the fatigue. And what we found is that it kind of made the game feel very hostile, because it's like, oh, your heroes keep getting more fatigued, and fatigue is a bad thing. And I saw that a lot of players, they did not want to take special actions because, like, yeah, but if I take a special action, then I'm fatigued, and fatigue is a bad thing, and I don't want to have a bad thing on me. And so we essentially like switched it around, and so instead of having fatigue, you now have power. So you start with a pool of power rather than taking and suffering fatigue and getting worse. And you start with a pool of power. So it's like, hey, here's my bunch of power points. You use those power points up to use your special skills, and then you rest to fill that back up. And so it feels like a much more positive way to interact with the game, where it's like, hey, I have my nice chunk of power. Let me use it. Let me fill it up. Let me use it again. Rather than, oh, I'm using stuff and I'm getting fatigued and it's bad. And then, oh, I rest, having that flow. Yes, sorry. So I hope that answered your first big question, which was like, can you talk about the quest update? Yes. About the updates to the release campaigns, when the new rules drop, all the new updated campaigns drop at the same time. So it's all going to happen at the same time. So new rules and new campaigns all at the same time. Will the new rules builder be coming to studio with the September update? Yes, but like I mentioned at the beginning, it's going to be the end of October update, and yes, then you will have all the builders for yourself as well. Would you consider maybe making the Battle Brothers Tough 2 for the basic soldiers? No, we do not do Tough 2. It's either Tough 3 or nada. Any plans for a Soul Snatcher Colts rework? No plans for now. What are your thoughts about pineapple on pizza? Well, now we're talking about the real questions. Look, I am Italian. It is what it is. I like me a good Italian pizza, and it's great. And for a long time, I was very averse to pineapple on pizza. Now, let me say something real quick that maybe a lot of people don't know. There are pizzas with fruit on top in Italy. Like a very classic one is like this sort of cheese and pear pizza. And another one is fig and like tomato sauce, sort of, and also a bit more cheesy pizza. So the fruit on pizza is not unheard of in Italy. Tomato is technically a fruit. But yes, a real Italian would not put pineapple on pizza because it's just soggy. That being said, if I am for whatever reason getting a trashy pizza, I'm getting Pizza Hut pizza. You know what? I'll have some pineapple on my pizza. Sure, I'll have a Hawaii or whatever it's called, and fine, I will do that. But on a real Italian pizza, miss me. All right. Would you consider adding weapon rules that add bonus on unit hold or at half range? Something more than a second hit on 6. Like additional range are plus 1 AP. No, not on weapon rules. But it's something that we are going to add on as unit rules. So, like, I spoke about it in the last stream. So imagine like if you're playing Dow, then they get plus 1 to hit over 12 inches away. So yes, it's not a weapon rule, it's a unit rule. Could it work as a weapon rule? I suppose, but that's just not the type of design that we've been doing for now. I think it's something that could be cool to add to the rules builder at some point. Okay. Any units any units getting a rework of some kind. For example, the orc trike feels underarmed for its cost, being bad at defense, shooting. No, there are no plans of reworking any specific units in general right now. The v3.5 update is a much broader update. I mean, some units are getting touched up here and there, but maybe not like you're expecting here. Uh, At the moment for goblins, the giant beast and giant troll have similar stat lines but radically different bases. Any chance you could either make them the same base size, maybe a base size in between the two? We are going to go through a big round of base size updates with the next update in at the end of October. Let me take a note of the one that you just described, and I will add it to my list. I have a huge list. So you said goblins, giant beast, and giant troll have similar stat lines, but vastly different base sizes. I will make sure to check it out when I get to that. Have anyone a hint which AF faction he means? Well, I guess that question is more for you guys. Um, are you sending out any advanced copies to content creators? I assume you're talking about Broken Truth. Yes, we are sending out copies to content creators. You said you'd love one. Send an email to info@onepagerules.com. Share your channel and stuff like that, and maybe we can find something. Is a Mordheim-like game mode possible? I mean, yes. So all the games have campaign rules. So if you play Age of Empires Skirmish and you grab our campaign rules, you can of course play a narrative or like a progression-driven campaign mode like Mordheim. With the purchasable quest books, would it be possible to get print-friendly versions? I like to print and bind them for use. Right now, we are only providing the print-friendly versions for the core rules, beginner's guide, and advanced rules. We are not currently planning to provide any other print-friendly versions of books. Look, there's a lot of books. It's actually a lot of work to do different versions for different things. Tough. With the version change, will there be a version of the core rules beginner's guide where all the changes are marked? No, we usually don't do that. Usually we say, look, just download a PDF and go online and use a PDF uh, comparison tool if you need. But usually there is also, of course, a post on the website that describes like what is everything that changes. Honestly, the changes are so few, I don't think it really matters. Did you say cheese and hair? Oh, cheese and pear. Yes, pear. Pear on pizza. Uh, any changes on how wound checks work on skirmish firefight? So not for now. We are definitely thinking about testing out a new way for skirmish to work. Ideally, I would like to do a sort of extended beta for this during 2026, I assume. But yes, we are thinking of updating how the skirmish games work. Basically, I mean, it's pretty simple. The idea is to essentially triplicate the stats. So instead of units being, just sorry. Let me explain first what the problem is. So the problem that a lot of people have with skirmish, is that it's very swingy because you have models that have your unit is made up of one model. Your model has takes one wound to die. It shoots his rifle, has only one roll, so it's very swingy. Like you roll one die and you hope for the best. And so the idea basically would be to make the game less swingy, to essentially like triplicate the stats. So triplicate, whatever. So for instance, instead of having whatever, an HDF veteran that it has a rifle with one shot and it's just dies with a wound, it would have tough 3 and its rifle would fire 3 shots. So now you basically roll more dice and you get like a better probability curve, or whatever. You get a more consistent game, and at that point, yes, we would remove the wound roll because it wouldn't make sense anymore. This is something that we want to test out. We are probably gonna do like a very long extended beta for people to test it out and give us feedback, and then tweak things going forward. If we like it, I think that could be the new way that skirmish is played in the future. Are you guys clarifying the Grim rule because it stands now in Firefight? It's very confusing to say the least. So we are definitely going to be. The Grim rule is no retreat. We are definitely going to check out no retreat, and because I've seen a couple of people comment about it, we're going to check out no retreat and see how it needs to be rewritten to better work for skirmish. Okay. All right, we got to the end of the questions. I said this was going to be a shorter stream. It is 15 minutes shorter than usual. So, we can clap to that. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It was always fun to do a stream. The next stream will be in a month. So, last Thursday of the month is September 25th. What more to say? Make sure to check out the Vampiric Undead faction book. Grab Broken Truth as soon as it comes out. Get tier 3 when it's out next month, and join us with the beta v3.5 beta stream on Monday. It's gonna be long, it's gonna be fun. Get some snacks. Honestly, my expectation is, maybe I'm wrong, but my expectation is gonna be a long stream. Like, it might have breaks in between. I might have a snack. It might be like a really chill hangout stream that takes a while. I might share my screen. It's gonna be fun. All right. Thank you, everyone, and yeah.